Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang practice session, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief introduction to this practice session. If you'll direct your attention towards the screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in this life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important element of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw our consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsang for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, He will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. He is Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji. I'd like to mention also that today's his birthday, so we celebrate this day and wish him a happy and healthy birthday. And today he will be joining us via a videotape message. Please enjoy.
Hello, everyone. There are a few people who have attended this before, but there are some new ones too. So as Eddie was saying, and thanks, Eddie, for getting us started here, we will just talk about an interesting topic. A lot of questions asked, like, how do you stay positive in toxic surroundings? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then this is a guided meditation, not breathing, not like you meditate while guidance is given. It just comes, the guidance comes in a set of instructions. And after that, you transition in with music, and then there is deep meditation in silence. That's the core of this session. And after the meditation, everyone interacts in terms of any questions, any observations, sharing of how things have been going. What I would suggest is that let's get through the practice and then describe how we meditate while we're talking about how do we stay positive in, various different circumstances. I'll talk about some of the concepts that we utilize here, and then we'll open up for more questions and sharing of things. Idea here is that as we get in, let's step back, relax. The initial part is just to get us in the mode of getting into deep meditation that is coming in 15 minutes. So just step back, relax. This question comes up again and again, and there are some folks here who have asked different versions of this question. So I just thought today, let's tackle this. And there is a simple answer, and then there is a little bit long-winded answer, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible, though. I think if we bring that up, do you have the first slide? Yeah, awesome. The question is how to stay positive in toxic surroundings. And I'll come to the simple answer later, but what we need to understand is that all of us react to things very differently. And sometimes when we are in good state, quote unquote, we react one way. And when we're not in such a good state, we react differently. So there are outer events in the world, and how we react to it differs. So we need to understand that aspect, and more from a spiritual and vertical progress towards a more peaceful state perspective. So how we react, so there is outer event, we don't have much control on that most of the time, but what we have control on is our internal states. So I picked up some things. So my grandfather started his nonprofit and started sharing publicly what he learned from his guru. And in that process, he wrote lots of books. And he described a 5-step process, which I found that in, thousands of years ago, there were Upanishads, which described it. But recently I read a book, Power of Focus, written by the authors of the Chicken Soup series. And they also mentioned that progress is vertical, while we continue to move horizontally in terms of time, past, present, and future. But if we want to uplift ourselves, we have to progress. And this 5-step process kind of talks about that. So Yuan, if you want to bring that 5-step pyramid, let's talk about that a little bit. So as Yuan is bringing up the 5 steps, initially, like here, let's think about before we get to the land of deeper peace, we have to cross some quote unquote internal state. So this is a map of internal states. So the way you grow spiritually and the way you react changes as you move vertically upwards on this pyramid. So initially, peace is very elusive because we are trying to find that in this world, which world keeps changing, and this action reaction continues in a way that we seem to be getting affected very heavily by people and our surroundings. But then when you ground yourself, so I mean, the simple solution is like, can we ground ourselves into strong positive energy? And that's what this whole practice is all about. So what it does is moves you up. And while the initial three realms, there is continual impact on, so while you're growing internally to become more spiritual, more grounded in positive energy, what happens is that it is FIR, the frequency, the intensity, and the recovery times continue to reduce as we progress upwards. So how many times you reacted in a way that later on you said, like, why did I do that? How many times, the intensity of that reaction. So, and how long were you perturbed? So all that starts to reduce, because what do you do? First, you have to start looking inwards. One step could be like with music, with chanting, with, some activity-based meditation, you ground yourself more to be more positive. But what we will practice here today is inner meditation. And we'll get to it very quickly. So literally, you are getting to the realm of the mind where you still have clouds of emotion and mind control challenges. But as you practice satsang, what you will find is, like, even after the first session, your ability to become peaceful, at least for a few moments, that target becomes far more achievable. But later on, you could develop a practice where 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, you just inculcate some positive energy, induce some positive energy that keeps you grounded positively throughout the day. As you are wrapping up the day, you re-energize. If that cycle continues, one, you're continually uplifting yourself through these steps. As you move to the fourth realm, that state becomes far more consistent, constant, and more deeper. And that is when better insights come up, because your emotions are in control. So your mental faculties, your capabilities in your brain become far more pronounced, focused, and your ability to see things clearly and concentrate on things and get deeper into their meaning, your perception changes drastically. And that leads to the understanding of how we're connected to other people, understanding how we can actually help others, and the deep connection that we already have, because we are all conscious beings. So that higher level of consciousness starts to come up in the fifth realm. And all that then leads to this land of amazing peace. So what I would say is that grounding yourself in positive energy, which is what we will practice now, as it gets more and more integrated into your lifestyle, into your day to day, instead of you getting affected by toxic surroundings, you start affecting people with more positive impact. That's the transformation that this pyramid basically talks about. We will talk more after the session. Let's try to practice this and see, how much it works. It's very simple, very powerful. For most people, you will see the difference right away. Just to mention that every Saturday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, same link works. And so you can always join the group, because the group energy is always helps us. So a positively energized group or a collective positive energy has a far deeper and impact on our own practice. So that helps a lot. I think Eddie mentioned that too. Welcome, everyone. Now let's get into the instructions of how to meditate in silence. So what we'll do is first close your eyes and observe your body a little bit to see that you're completely relaxed. There is no strain anywhere. You are in a relaxed position where you can stay still for the next 20, 30 minutes. It is important because the sensory input that comes into the eyes, so closing the eyes stops that. Every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to stop that as well. So eyes lightly closed, and then observe that you're completely relaxed and you can stay still for the next 15, 20 minutes. Now think of the most positive and uplifting transcendental energy in form of light that's right here, right now with us, in front of us. And that's entering our heart and filling our heart with this energy and this light and enlightening us. And our heart is getting filled with that light. And then from there, this light is traveling throughout our body to every part. So mention this again. So this transcendental energy in form of light is in front of us, in form of light, and that light is entering our heart and distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this light. We're getting completely and totally immersed in this light. And hence, we are becoming this energy. It is difficult to stay still and stay on one thought and one thought alone of this light entering our heart and distributing throughout our body, and that we're becoming one with this light. So every time, so it's natural, the mind will go away and we will realize that it has wandered somewhere else. As soon as you realize that mind has wandered away, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that you are in presence of this positive and uplifting transcendental energy, which is in form of light, and that light is entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and that light is then going everywhere to every part of your body, and you're getting completely and totally immersed in this light inside and out. We'll start with music, and then the music will fade away, and then we'll meditate in silence, and then we'll break or transition out from this meditation with music for a few minutes, and then we'll start the interaction and the interactive session. So let's start now.
Okay, so today will be a short session, so we'll wrap up at this time. If you have any questions, please post those to the chat. And a reminder that every Saturday at 10 a.m., we also have a Satsang session. So at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. And don't forget to wish Sanjeev ji a happy birthday. Thank you once again.